There are so many different shapes, so many different engines, layouts, approaches. Simply a very large variety of cars. The automotive world has tens of various manufacturers which make very different cars from each other. Most of them we see out there are not special and won't ever be. However, the following list shows a bunch of crazy cars which, for whatever reason, became so different that they acquired a unique nickname. Flying Saucer. The Alfa Romeo 1900 C52 Disco Volante received this nickname because of its design, obviously. In Italian, Disco Volante means flying saucer, and it was actually functional, being tested in a wind tunnel. Only 2 spiders and 1 coupe were created, and it was more like an experimental sports car. Rote Sau. AMG was founded in 1967 by former Mercedes engineers. The Mercedes 300 SEL W109 with an automatic gearbox, the Red Pig or Red Sow as it was nicknamed, was their first project which achieved significant success in endurance racing in late 60s and early 70s. This Rote Sau nickname most likely comes from the fact that it was very large, very heavy, drank a lot, wore tires often and was red. Widowmaker. The Widowmaker nickname is quite a famous one, and you must have been living under a rock if you hear it for the first time in connection with the 930 Turbo. As a starting car model featuring rear-engine, rear-wheel drive layout, this setup was uncommon back then, and Porsche could not fine-tune it as they can today. It oversteered a lot, and if you add the massive torque and turbo lag, the world's fastest truck. This name is not very common, but you may have heard it once or twice. Ettore Bugatti supposedly described Bentleys by this phrase. According to the internet, it is meant for the Bentley Speed Six, but if you think a little harder, any other Bentley could be called like this. The brand doesn't make lightweight cars, although they are quick. Take the Continental GT3R. It has the same weight as the old Speed 6 and does 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. That's not a sports car, that's a ridiculously fast truck. Godzilla. The R32 Skyline GTR received the Godzilla nickname, and to be correct, no other GTR should be called this way. Regardless, the name was used for the first time in an Austrian magazine, Wheels, in July 1989. The Godzilla is a fictional giant monster, and the GTR was that monster on the track at Japanese Touring Car Championship Series. This car won all 29 races in a season and won every championship between 1989 and 1993. Bakelite Motorwagen. Trabi, Bakelite Motorwagen, Plastic Bomber, Saxon Porsche, PVC Jaguar, Two-Stroke Dwarf. The Trabant 601 received many great nicknames, and as you can see, they are quite accurate. The car was made in the Saxon city of Zwickau. It wasn't made entirely out of plastic, it was an exaggeration, but it really had the bakelite body parts glued onto the steel skeleton. Crowdslayer. I admit this is my creation, inspired by the Kingslayer of Game of Thrones, but you gotta admit, it is pretty damn accurate. The Mustang can be a tricky car to handle in hands of an inexperienced driver with such a power, which is why it often ends up in crowds gathered around the road that the car meets. Ugly Duck. Up to wartime, every country had its own people's car with a low price and budget-friendly maintenance. France had the Citroën 2CV, which got its nickname as an ugly duck, obviously for its looks. Citroën has always created something ridiculous, and while the 2CV may be ugly, its ugliness makes it a charming and kind of a beautiful car now. Well played, Citroën. The sucker car. Although the Chaparral 2J had a V8 powerplant, there was one more gasoline engine, as it wasn't called a sucker car for nothing. There were two fans at the back pushing out 273,000 liters of air at 6,000 RPM with the little 247cc Rockwell JLO 45 horsepower 2-cylinder engine normally installed in snowmobiles. Here it provided tremendous amount of downforce, as the 2J was 2 seconds faster than the next car during qualifications in Can-Am series.